A world transformed by conflict. The Ukraine conflict's enduring impact. The world watches Ukraine with bated breath as the situation continues to evolve. The conflict, now in its third year, has reshaped geopolitics. It has tested alliances, pushing nations to reconsider their foreign policies and defense strategies. And it has reminded us of the fragility of peace. The once serene landscapes of Ukraine are now marred by the scars of war, a stark contrast to the peace that once prevailed. Millions have been displaced, seeking refuge far from home, families torn apart, children growing up in refugee camps, and the elderly struggling to find safety. The images of destruction are a stark reminder of war's brutal reality. Buildings reduced to rubble, streets once bustling with life, now eerily silent. The conflict's impact extends far beyond Ukraine's borders. Protests and rallies around the world show solidarity with Ukraine, highlighting the global concern. Global energy markets are in flux, food security is threatened. The ripple effects of the conflict are felt in every corner of the globe, from rising energy prices to empty supermarket shelves. The rules-based international order, already under strain, faces a profound challenge. The conflict has exposed the vulnerabilities in our global systems and the need for stronger international cooperation. Yet, amidst the devastation, there is hope. Communities come together to rebuild, volunteers tirelessly work to provide aid, and the spirit of resilience shines through. The Ukrainian people's resilience inspires the world. Their determination to rebuild and their unwavering spirit in the face of adversity is a testament to human strength. Diplomatic efforts, though tested, offer a glimmer of a path towards peace. Negotiations continue, with the hope that dialogue and diplomacy will eventually lead to a resolution. Humanitarian aid flows into the region, providing much-needed relief to those affected. Children, despite the circumstances, find moments of joy and play, a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. The international community pledges support, with fundraising events and aid packages aimed at helping Ukraine recover and rebuild. The global solidarity is a beacon of hope in these trying times. Educational programs for displaced children and mental health support initiatives are being established, ensuring that the future generation is not lost to the ravages of war. Technological innovations are aiding in the reconstruction efforts, with renewable energy projects being introduced to build a more sustainable future for Ukraine. Cultural events celebrating Ukrainian heritage, art, and music serve as forms of resistance, preserving the nation's identity and spirit amidst the chaos. International students and volunteers flock to Ukraine, joining global youth movements advocating for peace and justice, showing that the younger generation is committed to a better future. Scenes of hope and resilience are everywhere as people rebuild their lives brick by brick and step by step. The journey is long, but the spirit of Ukraine remains unbroken. As the sun sets over a recovering cityscape, it symbolizes hope and renewal. The road to peace is fraught with challenges, but the enduring spirit of Ukraine lights the way forward. The road to 2025 has been long and arduous, marked by significant events that have shaped the geopolitical landscape, a timeline of invasion and resistance, a story of struggle and resilience. February 2022. Russia launches a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, a move that shocks the world and ignites a fierce conflict. The world reacts with shock and condemnation. Leaders from across the globe denounce the aggression, and citizens take to the streets in protest. Western nations impose a series of stringent sanctions on Russia, targeting its economy and key industries. The sanctions aim to cripple Russia's ability to sustain its military operations. Spring 2022. Ukrainian resistance proves fierce. Despite the odds, Ukrainian forces manage to halt Russia's advance, showcasing their determination and resilience. The conflict settles into a war of attrition. Both sides dig in, preparing for a prolonged struggle with no clear end in sight. Winter 2022 to 2023. Energy shortages grip Europe as Russia cuts gas supplies. The continent faces a harsh winter, with many struggling to stay warm. Global food prices soar due to disruptions in Ukrainian grain exports. The conflict's impact extends far beyond the battlefield, affecting millions worldwide. 2024, the conflict grinds on. Skirmishes continue and the destruction of infrastructure in Ukraine is widespread. Both sides dig in, with no end in sight. The war has become a stalemate, with neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. International pressure mounts for a negotiated settlement. Diplomatic efforts intensify, with the United Nations and other international bodies calling for peace. Protests around the world echo the demand for an end to the conflict. Amidst the turmoil, humanitarian efforts continue. Aid organizations work tirelessly to provide relief to those affected, and efforts to rebuild Ukraine begin, even as the conflict rages on. Despite the devastation, hope and resilience shine through. Communities come together, determined to rebuild and create a better future. The spirit of resistance and the desire for peace remain strong. Shifting tides, key developments in the past year. 2025 has witnessed a shift in the conflict's dynamics. Ukraine, bolstered by Western military aid, has launched counteroffensives. They aim to reclaim territory lost in the early days of the war. Russia, facing mounting casualties and economic strain, shows signs of fatigue. However, the Kremlin remains defiant, vowing to achieve its objectives. The use of advanced weaponry by both sides has escalated the conflict's brutality. Drone strikes and cyber attacks have become commonplace, blurring the lines of traditional warfare. The unbearable cost, human suffering, and global response. The conflict's human toll is staggering. Thousands of civilians have been killed, millions have been displaced, seeking refuge in neighboring countries. The war has created a humanitarian crisis of immense proportions. Access to food, water, and medical care is severely limited in conflict zones. International organizations and NGOs are working tirelessly to provide aid. But the needs are overwhelming, and the situation remains dire. Section 5. Looking ahead, what experts predict for the future. Experts offer a range of predictions for the conflict's trajectory. Some believe a protracted stalemate is the most likely scenario. Others see a potential for escalation, particularly if NATO becomes directly involved. There are also voices calling for a negotiated settlement. They argue that dialogue, however difficult, is the only path to lasting peace. The outcome remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the conflict will continue to have profound consequences for Ukraine, Russia, and the world. Section 6. A world on edge. The conflict's global ripple effects. The conflict has sent shockwaves through the global economy. Energy prices have soared, fueling inflation worldwide. Supply chains have been disrupted, leading to shortages and higher prices for goods. The war has also exacerbated geopolitical tensions. The West and Russia are locked in a new Cold War, with mistrust and animosity running high. The conflict has tested the strength of international institutions like the United Nations. Their ability to prevent and resolve conflicts is being questioned. Section 7. The quest for peace. Can diplomacy end the bloodshed? Despite the challenges, diplomatic efforts to end the conflict continue. International organizations, regional powers, and individual nations are engaged in talks. The focus is on finding a political solution that addresses the security concerns of both Ukraine and Russia. This includes issues like Ukraine's neutrality and the status of disputed territories. Progress has been slow and halting, but the very fact that dialogue is ongoing offers a glimmer of hope. Section 8. The power of resilience. Stories of hope from Ukraine. Amidst the tragedy, stories of resilience and hope emerge from Ukraine. Ordinary citizens have shown extraordinary courage in defending their country. Volunteers risk their lives to deliver aid to those in need. Doctors and nurses work tirelessly to save lives. Teachers strive to provide a sense of normalcy for children traumatized by war. These stories remind us of the human spirit's indomitable nature. Even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. Section 9. A call to action. Our role in shaping a peaceful future. The conflict in Ukraine is a stark reminder of the human cost of war. The images of destroyed homes, displaced families, and lives torn apart are heart-wrenching. These scenes are not just statistics, they represent real people with dreams, hopes, and aspirations. The devastation we witness is a powerful call to action for each one of us. It is a call to action for all of us. We must rise above indifference and take a stand for peace. Across the globe, people are coming together, marching in solidarity and raising their voices for a common cause. These peace rallies are a testament to the collective power of humanity when united for a noble purpose. We must demand that our leaders prioritize diplomacy and peaceful resolution. It is imperative that political leaders engage in meaningful dialogue, seeking solutions that avoid further bloodshed. Diplomatic meetings and discussions are crucial in paving the way for lasting peace. We must hold our leaders accountable, ensuring they work tirelessly towards conflict resolution. We must support humanitarian efforts to alleviate the suffering of those affected by the conflict. Humanitarian aid is essential in providing immediate relief to those in dire need. Volunteers and organizations on the ground are working tirelessly to deliver food, medical supplies, and shelter. Our support, whether through donations or volunteering, can make a significant difference in the lives of those impacted, and we must never lose sight of the need for a more just and peaceful world. The sight of children playing in safe environments and communities coming together to rebuild is a beacon of hope. It reminds us of the resilience of the human spirit and the possibility of a brighter future. We must strive to create a world where every child can grow up in peace and security, a world where dialogue triumphs over violence and where cooperation prevails over conflict. Global cooperation and mutual understanding are the cornerstones of a peaceful future. By embracing diversity and fostering international partnerships, we can build a world where differences are celebrated and conflicts are resolved through dialogue and collaboration. Together, we can shape a future where peace is not just a dream but a reality for all.